Hello, hello. Welcome to Tech Ascent, the podcast where we dive into the trends, strategies, and success stories that are reshaping the tech landscape as we know it today. I'm your host, Oliver Clingain. I'm also the founder of Ascension, the premier business development partner within tech. Today, we're joined by James Hotson, the co-founder of Katara. James, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
It's great to have you on. It's great to meet you. Would you mind telling the audience a little bit about yourself and what you guys do at Katara?
Yeah, so I've been in the AI space for a little over a decade. I got started in it in 2012, so I'm not new to the industry. Initially, when I got into it, it was called AI, and then it was called big data, and then it was called machine learning, and now we're back to AI.
Hmm.
So been battle tested in the space for a long time. I've been lucky enough to have two AI companies that I was an executive at. Both of them have gotten acquired. So gone through, two really big exits with AI companies, and I'm never been more excited than what we're building now with Katara. I think, what has been introduced in the last 18 months, 2 years is really changing the way businesses operate. And so with Katara, we're building an AI agentic workflow platform where we're allowing and helping businesses to stitch together multiple AI agents and deliver meaningful business results. And so that can be in support, it can be in their code base, it can be in their document generation. We're just shrinking all of the manual, tedious tasks that people do every day. And then on top of that, we're starting to automate business processes and really rewrite business process um, for more specifically AI to be more efficient in it. So I love what we're building. We've been at it for about a year. We have raised a seed round in August of last year at like 2.6 million, and we have a handful of design partner clients, and we have a handful of paying existing customers. So it's truly a startup.
Yeah, yeah, very cool, very cool, and congrats on the success. Usually that first year is the hardest, but sounds like you guys have built a strong foundation.
Yeah, it was funny. Every year seems hard. There's always new challenges, new problems. Every year seems hard.
I'm sure. And James, you mentioned you've been in the AI space for 10 years now. I'm sure the challenges in year one are a lot different than year 10. And maybe just to lay them out there in year one, I'm sure you experienced that nobody knew what it was. And then now in year 10, people have a good idea of what it is, but because of that, there's a lot of noise.
There's a
Is that is
lot.
that is that
There's a
pretty accurate? Is that an accurate analyzation?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of kind of fun stories. When we started, the name of that company was Retention Science, and we ultimately sold to Constant Contact. We are a marketing automation company. And I remember one of our very first clients, we're like, yeah, hey, we'll analyze your customer data, we'll predict lifetime value, we'll predict, certain things on your customer base. They mailed us a physical hard drive of their customer data to analyze.
Hmm.
UPS, a hard drive to our office. And then this was 2012, and then we got smart enough to do it over FTP, and we were sending data, in increments depending if it was daily or 10 minutes, and we were getting data that way. I mean, fast forward to today, right? If you're following along with the conversations on MCP and the new protocols for looking at getting data and the jet web sockets and those kinds of things and how fast you can manipulate and move data, it's insane. It's
Hmm.
like in a decade span, it's crazy to see how fast we can get and such high qualities of data as well. So it's been a crazy ride. Again, like another cool data point is when we started, there were probably hundreds of, AI or, marketing automation type softwares. And now, when we sold the company, I think there were close to 10,000 AI SaaS companies. And now today, I saw a stat recently where it was like there's 20,000 new softwares being launched every single day because of things like, the Copilots or Codex or Cursor or Windsurf. It's like everything is just extremely accelerated.
Hmm. Hmm. And with that, I'm sure there's been a big influx of competition in the space. How are you going about kind of breaking through the noise of that with Qatar?
I think by just looking like a couple different ways. You have to be obsessed with what the customer problem is and solving that customer problem and constantly like giving the best value. And so we have that deep expertise of what the problems are that we're solving for our customer. And then we also have the technology understanding and being flexible on that as well. Like stubborn on our vision, flexible on what tech we use. And so, we're not I think you can chunk off a big portion of those 20,000 every single day that I was kind of joking about by a lot of them are just wrappers on top of ChatGPT. Someone put 10 prompts into Cursor and then deployed a web app. You know, that's probably not going to be a durable business that's going to scale and be around for a long time
Mm,
versus something where, Katara, we're doing some really tough stuff with AI. We rolled our own framework, so we're not using a LangChain or a Crew AI to build our agentic workflows, which, there's a lot of great tools out there, and I'm no knock on the Crews or the N8Ns of the world. Uh, we just ran into roadblocks and limitations that, put us in a position where we absolutely had to build our own framework in order to get the results that we were after. And so I think when you're stubborn on that vision of, hey, this is the product, this is the service that we're solving for, this is the value, how do we get the best result? And actually building to that, like I think you can build a really meaningful business. You can build a really meaningful solution. People will love your software, your customers will be happy. And I think we're flexible on that. We actually, a lot of our stuff is using OpenAI models, but we just yesterday did a really fun proof of concept using Mistral and running the LLM locally instead of hosted so the data is more secure. It's really kind of a fun space to be in for right now because things are moving so fast and you can do so many things.
yeah, no, and it sounds like you guys are taking full advantage of it. And James, we've talked about the influx of AI companies. Some of them are wrappers on wrappers, essentially. So there's a lot of companies that I like to use the term or phrase, I should say. There's a lot of companies that are kind of promising unicorns and delivering donkeys, so to say, within the
Sure.
AI space, kind of putting a bad taste in some people's mouth. How are
Yep.
you going about educating prospects about the benefits of Qatar's offering as opposed to just being another AI company?
I think it's less and less my job internally. Yes, I run go to market, but I let our customers sing our praises and shout how good we are from our rooftop. Like there's nothing better than a customer saying that we're the best thing since sliced bread and they got the best results out of that.
Hmm.
Because I think when one customer's saying it and they attract a second customer, and then now we have two people saying similar things, that's two validation points that we have. They're going to go both tell 10 of their friends, and it just that network effect and that distribution is huge. And so, we're hyper focused on things like onboarding and first mile and like what is that experience like and how quickly can they get value out of our product and how quickly can we show value and then once we do, how do we make that sticky and how do we make sure we continue to, add more and more things or, agents or whatever it might be to our quiver so that people use Katara and Katara becomes this massive platform for all things AI and agentic workflow.
Hmm. Nice, nice. And James, obviously, we've talked a few things about you being an entrepreneur over the past 10 years in the AI space. What makes Qatar a bit of a different project than the last ones? Is it the same goals at the minute? Are you looking for that exit? What's the game plan?
Well, I think it's still as I get more mature in my career, it's still about growing a business, seeing how big you can get that business, seeing how big of a product you can, deliver. I think that's interesting. I'm not sitting here building every single day so that we can go have, there's only one path to exit. If we are a technology company that's around for 100 years, that would be pretty cool. If
Hmm.
we're a company that has a major exit and is a headline on, Financial Times and Wall Street Journal, that'd be also pretty cool. I think that there's no one clear path. I think if we can continue to build interesting stuff, if we I'm really most excited about putting the team together. How high of caliber can we get on of people on the boat? How great of a team can we put together and go compete? Because I think the tech is going to change. The whole world is going to shift. And so what worked 5 years ago is no longer going to work today. And I think that window is even accelerated. Maybe we shrink the time scale down by half. So what was working today is not going to work in 2.5 years. And so
Hmm.
what is that tech going to be that's really and going to be delivering a ton of value? And I think the foundation of that is you need a smart team that's, resourceful, that can go execute, that can see around corners, that's innovative, that can go hustle. And so building that team is really the most important part to me right now.
No doubt, no doubt. And as the founder, co-founder, how are you going about establishing that culture of it's a mindset, it's a culture, it's we're constantly moving forward. How do you go about establishing that or even hiring for that?
I think winners attract winners in a sense. You know, people can start to see, things that I'm doing, they see, conversations like this, right? They can see the wins that our customers are posting about on social. You can literally stumble across a Katara bot when you're not even really looking for one and be like, "Oh, what's this?" That gave a cool response. Um, and so I think people are finding us in all these different ways, and then that makes it like that just attracts certain people. We get inbound every single day. Hey, are you hiring? Hey, are you hiring? Hey, are you hiring? And we're just looking for the highest caliber people that we can bring on board.
Hmm. Makes sense. Makes sense. And James, we can start to wrap up here, but this is one of my favorite questions I love to ask founders, especially multi-time founders. If there was one lesson in your entrepreneurial career that you wish you learned earlier than you did, what would that one lesson be?
I think there's one line, I have no idea where I picked it up. And you know what? I think it was actually a version of like a line from a romance movie, but it was like, it never feels like a success story when you're in it. And I think that's a variation of like you can't see the forest through the trees and that kind of stuff. And so I think the original quote was like it's not a love story when you're in it. Um, but that helped me so much during the tough times. You know, like we've had the technology break, and when it breaks, all dogs have fleas, and what the best you can do is fix the break, figure out why it happened, address the problems with the customers, and go from there. You know, we've had customers that don't pay their bills. Okay, well, you got to find a way to break up with that customer and keep going. You lose a marquee logo customer, you lose a mega deal at the 1 yard line, and you're like waiting for the wire to come through tomorrow morning, and they send you an email saying, "Hey, we lost." Approval on this thing. Like that's all the low points of building a startup, or you lose a key employee as well. That's another big one. It's like remembering that saying of like it doesn't feel like a success story when you're in it has helped me so much during the tough times to just keep going, and it's a game of survival at the end of the day. And so the longer you can keep going and keep building and keeping that momentum going, I think that's huge. And I think that every company really struggles with that, and the key is just to keep going and find the things that remind you to keep going.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And it's kind of boils down to what I like to say is just keep putting one foot in front of the other because
Yep.
obviously it's a game of highs and lows, but that is just the name of the game of business. So got to keep
Yep.
pushing.
Exactly. And there's so many of those little lines, how do you need an elephant? One bite at a time, all those little things. But
Hmm.
it feels pretty cool when you get to the top and oh, I'm in the promised land. I'm where I'm further than what I would have ever expected of, what we've got. I'm working with bigger brands. I'm in the room with amazing people. It's just cool what you can end up doing if you just keep going.
Yeah, yeah. And James, we kind of touched on it, but I'd like to ask it more formally. What's the goal for Qatar now? What's the vision? What's the mission going forward for the rest of either 2025 or just for the foreseeable future?
Well, I'm really excited because we've transitioned our initial design partners into paying customers. That's a big leap for a company, and and essentially we're starting to cross the chasm with our early adopters becoming more mainstream. So that's like where we're at as a company. I think we are live, we are scaling, we're adding new integrations, we're adding new cool technologies. I want Qatar to become the number one AI agentic workflow platform. And I think we can become that. And I think we have some really special things going on with the company. And, we're just getting started with where we're at with our beachhead strategy. But I think my vision is if we could become number one in the agentic space, that's a huge win for Katara. It's a huge win for the team, and huge win for all of our customers as well.
No doubt. No, massive vision. And we've talked about it today. You've got the experience to back it up. You guys have laid a great foundation over the last year. So see no reason you shouldn't be able to hit those.
Amazing.
Awesome. And James, I really appreciate you coming on the show. I'll be sure to tag your LinkedIn and Katara's website down in the description for the people listening. But is there anywhere else you'd like people to go look for you?
Yeah. Katara AI is our website. We have a YouTube channel if you want to check out some product tours and those kinds of things. We're pretty big on X. So that's where we release most of our news right now. So, those are the main places to find us. And then we are still in a private beta. And so if anyone wants to email me, James at Katara AI, I can give you an access code to get access to the platform because we do have a long wait list of people who want access and we're just gating it right now so we don't, use too much compute.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. And for everybody listening, I'll be sure to tag all of that down in the description so you guys can go check them out. But thank you for tuning in. And James, thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on.
Amazing. Thank you, Oliver. This was great.